All the right parts in all the right places. NAPA's putting smiles on American faces.
What's up, guys? So I'm here to talk to you guys about the new NAPA line, the Maxi Trac. So I could talk to you guys about a lot of stuff that NAPA carries, and they really do carry a lot of stuff, but I really just want to focus on the Maxi Trac because funny enough, it's pretty much overland based, affordable, and actually I really like the way their stuff looks. Even this trash caddy and the awning look really great, but they have a lot of other stuff that you guys can check out. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with the NAPA Maxi Trac's awning. This is the first thing that kind of piqued my attention when it came to NAPA. Now I'm sure a bunch of you guys have seen people running these. These have become very popular. I checked with Overland Engineer on his, he just got his recently and he seems to like it. I don't want to give away too much information from him because he has a whole video on this right now. But from talking to a bunch of people that have this, everyone seems to say the same thing. It is a really great awning, especially for only $100. So it is pretty comparable to the ARB awning. It doesn't let in a lot of light, which is really nice. I also spoke with several people that have the ARB room that they were able to use with the NAPA awning. So if you have a vehicle that's a little bit longer, the 8-foot will be really great. But if you have something like a Crosstrek, this is going to be definitely too long for you. So I've been running this trash caddy for a few months now, and I've really liked it so far. I know that a lot of people complain about their Trasharoo brand fading over time, but I haven't really noticed that so far. It's very dusty right now. I know it's not showing up black, but if you clean this off, it actually is pretty black. Panels here, a nice zipper that runs in here. So you can put like propane bottles in there. You can even put propane bottles here in this one on either side. Again, more mole stuff. Some pockets here, and then even another one on this side that you can put stuff in. But yeah, you can put firewood in here, you can put really anything you want inside, and it holds pretty well. So it's made to go on a wheel, an tire setup on the back, but it actually fits perfect on this C4 ladder here. You can just keep empty trash bags in there at all times. I keep a few in there rolled up, and then yeah, just cinch it and you're good to go. But yeah, I would say this is as good as some of the big name brands. I think it was only like 30 something bucks. So it's a nice way to keep your trash not just in your vehicle, which is kind of what I did before. Ended up buying this specifically for this video to test it out. So I think I've been pretty happy with the purchase so far. So this next one actually is a lot different because this is not really vehicle based. This is just a camp folding chair. If it's anything like my REI one here, then it is decently comfortable, but it seems like it's more of like a backpacking type chair. The weight capacity on this is 225 pounds. This one folds down pretty small, so it doesn't take up a lot of room. But if you're overlanding and you have the space, I would just say go for something a little bit bigger and a little bit more comfortable. Now it actually seems like everybody has this same shovel. I think I got mine at Walmart. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them really anywhere, but it seems like it's exactly the same one that you see everywhere. It's pretty great. I like mine a lot. It folds down pretty small, and I just tuck it behind the seat. You just unfold it pretty quickly, and it works pretty good. So this next one actually is pretty crazy. I looked online and looked up some reviews of this. This comes from a company called Stealth Angel Survival, but it comes with a shovel, a scale knife, a saw, compass, multi-extension bars, hex bolt wrench, screwdriver, fire starter, emergency hammer, ruler, cleaver, bottle cutter, and hook. It basically has everything all in this one multi-tool. You just unscrew these parts and you can use them. I've never personally used one of these, so I'm not sure of the actual usefulness of each of these tools, but I thought it would be a really cool way to kind of incorporate a lot of different things that you might need. There wasn't a whole lot of information out there, but this actually came pretty highly rated on a few websites, so maybe it's worth the shot at $30. So it even comes with this bag here, and it looks like it folds up pretty small. So this next one is a pretty standard headlamp for camping. If you don't mind that it's bright orange and a little goofy looking, I think this would probably be a pretty good route to go. It is rechargeable, so you don't have to replace the batteries, and I really like that on this one. It is 240 lumens at its highest setting, and then 120 lumens in the low setting. So I would say that this is a pretty decent amount of lumens, probably the most you would need out of a headlamp. It's got a few modes. It's got your spotlight, it's got a red light, it's got a red light SOS, which is exactly how mine is. I have one from REI, and it is made for camping, but it pretty much has exactly these same settings. And this is only $13, so even if it only lasts you maybe a year, which is what the warranty is on it, I would say it's a pretty good purchase. Now this is a pretty standard multifunction tool. The one I have looks pretty similar to this except for the coloring on it. I would venture to say that this is made, if not in the same factory in China, a very similar one. I carry this larger one like this in my vehicle, but I have a smaller one that I use on my EDC. So if you don't mind a pretty large object on your belt loop or in your pocket, then this would be a pretty good EDC. I just believe that this is maybe a little bit heavier than I would like. So I would actually recommend this more as something you would keep inside your vehicle. I keep this in my drawer system as a backup, and then I use my Gerber dime as my EDC multi-tool. I really like this fat bungee. I think being able to bungee things down in your vehicle is really great, especially if you're a pretty big off-roader. You don't want things moving around too much, so they had a bunch of different sizes and shapes for these bungees, but I would say at $4, I think this is a no-brainer for really anybody trying to keep things bungeed down, or maybe to keep down your awning or something while camping. So although there is a lot more things that I did not cover, these are just a few things that I've picked out that either are very similar to things I've used or something that I have used. All right, so this one I actually found pretty nuts. It is a twin piston compressor, and it actually claims 300 liters per minute, which if you do the math, it is about 10.59 cubic feet per minute. It is dual piston, whereas my Smittybilt is a single piston. I would say my Smittybilt is pretty fast, but it actually only boasts about 5.5 cubic feet per minute. So this is nearly double that. So I'm not 100% positive on the accuracy of that. I went to ARB's website, and they are pretty much the top of the line for compressors, and they only claim about 174 liters per minute. So basically the Maxi Trac is claiming that it is nearly double of an ARB twin. But I did chat with Overland Adventure Off-Road. He said that he's running this compressor and he's really liked it. I will link a video below of him talking about that. It looks pretty nice, and if the figures are accurate, then I will 100% be switching to this one. So next up we have this digital tire deflator. This looks super familiar, and if it does to you, it looks very much like the Boulder tools. I know a lot of people that are using the Boulder tools. I had the Boulder tools and it worked pretty well. This will really deflate very, very quickly. So much so that I would say you need to keep an eye on it. You can't really walk away from it. So if this is anything like the Boulder Tools version, then I would say this is a really good buy, considering that the Boulder Tools is almost $30 and this one's only $20. So I'm going to go ahead and include these winches on here because while I think that these are actually not that cheap, they can do the job. So if your need is an 11,000 pounds, this is pretty good. It is a synthetic line, so you don't have to worry about the line snapping and popping up and hitting you. So you can get a winch line damper, but it's not necessarily something you have to get. This is 13,000 pounds and this is $1,000. It's still cheaper than a worn winch, but I'm pretty happy with my Smittybilt, which was a 10.5, and I believe it was like $600. So, but it's really your call to see which one you want to go with. I would just go ahead and go with the Smittybilt, but if you have some kind of weird alliance to NAPA, then this is a pretty good option. All right, so we've got the Maxi Trac 3-inch light. This is pretty common size for ditch pods or lights up top. It claims to have 2100 lumens, which is pretty bright considering that the Baja Squadron boasts 2200. So apparently it's only a little bit less than Baja, which is pretty high up there in terms of quality. It is IP69 rated, which I believe the Bajas are as well. But at about 60 bucks, it's actually not a bad deal. I also wanted to include these rock lights here. Now, they're pretty expensive, but they're multicolored. So if you're going for, the multicolor look, then maybe check these out. But I would say even some of the top of the line brands are about the same price. So I don't know, maybe look somewhere else. But again, if you have some kind of weird loyalty to NAPA for some reason, then these actually aren't that bad. They're just a little bit expensive. All right, so this one is not technically vehicle specific, but just make sure that the weight rating works for your vehicle. This is pretty similar in terms of price and weight as my current one that I have on my vehicle. But yeah, this actually isn't a really bad deal. This is pretty good and it's coated to last. Also, we have these bow shackles. These are 6.5 tons, so this should work for your vehicle. Unless you have some really massive vehicle, I think this should work. 19 bucks, that's a pretty okay deal. So this next one is a snatch strap. Now this is not a regular strap. They actually had a kit with strap, shackles, and all that, but in my opinion, it was just overpriced. A snatch strap is really good for kind of yanking someone out. It's dynamic. But yeah, if you have a recovery kit, I would definitely include something like this in there. This is very similar to some of the other higher brands. It actually looks very, very similar to it. So there's a 17 and a 24,000 pound snatch strap. Just check the ratings and make sure that it'll work for your vehicle. So this next one is a farm jack, or utility jack as they call it. I have one of these. I picked mine up at Vic Off-Road. They work really well in an emergency, but I would definitely check and do research before buying one of these, because these are probably one of the more dangerous things that you can use in an off-road recovery situation. So just be aware of that before you go in there. The lift capacity on this is 6,000, so make sure that works with your vehicle before purchasing something like this. Now, I don't know much about specifically this one. The only one that I can recommend is the Vic Off-Road, because that's the one that I use. So as with every one of these, I always recommend getting a tire repair kit. This one is pretty comprehensive, and I would say at about $11, this is a pretty good deal. Something to keep inside your vehicle. Know how to use it, but it's pretty straightforward. It's good for repairing stuff, but I don't believe this works for sidewall repair. But it's a really good thing to have in there as a backup in case you get a puncture on a trail. There are so many things on here that I did not cover. I just picked some of the stuff that I thought stood out as a pretty good buy. So I would say if you really want to do some research and know what's out there, go to NAPA's website, search Maxi Trac, and see what you can find. So if you end up trying something out that wasn't on this list or was on this list, let us know below, and then also just let us know how you liked it.